Strong bodies,
kind hearts,
unstoppable minds.
You're listening to Strong Girls Pod,
where strong women share their stories
to inspire strong girls.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Strong Girls Pod. I'm your host, Charlie Ekstrom, and I am so excited for this episode today. I am bringing on a dear friend of mine, 3-time Olympian, 4-time medalist for Team Canada swimming, Miss Taylor Ruck. Taylor, thank you so much for coming on today. I am so excited to be here together.
Yeah, Charlie, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to just get down, catch up, and see how you've been.
I'm so excited. It's going to be such an awesome convo, and really it's so fun because I get to hear, I know so much about your career and your life story from us being at Stanford together, but I'm so excited to highlight you for everybody to hear and really to just go through the journey, because we were just talking about this. It's 3-time Olympian. It's crazy. Like, your career has spanned through 3 Olympic cycles, through college, through all of it. You've done it all. And so it's so fun to get to really highlight you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So I've queued this in now. I obviously know a bit about your background. We go back quite a few years now at this point, which is crazy to me to think, looking back to like our little freshman year selves of college when I got to know you to start. It's crazy to me that you've been on 2 Olympic cycles since then, since we met. And looking now, I want you to be able to give all of the listeners a little bit more about your background and your story. What made you choose swimming? Let's talk about where you're from, what you're doing now, and let's hear everything. Let's hear the Taylor Ruck origin story of what got you in as the swimmer that you are today.
Yeah. Well, starting from the beginning, I guess. I was born in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada, and then my dad moved me and my mom out to Scottsdale, Arizona when I was 1 for his work. And I know he loves to tell the story of just taking us to the apartment pool and always just playing games with us, like building our love for the water, like in that regard. So I remember there's just like, he always tells the story of like a washer or whatever. So he'd like take us in his arms and then just like thrash us around. But like, I don't know, I just ate that up. So it's just, I don't know what it was about it, but I don't know. It just made me like trust the water a little bit. And I think that's a common thing, to just be scared of something like that, where it's such a different environment just being on land. So yeah, I think that was super cool, just that he did that. And then just connecting us, like, I don't know, my love for like him and like my family, it's all connected, I guess. But yeah, so fast forward a couple of years, I guess I retained that love, like trying different sports in Arizona. Like I went around a little bit, but swimming's kind of just been like there and consistent this whole, like, since I was 6, basically. Definitely foundational. Like, I've built my life kind of around it, for better or for worse, but mostly for better. It's just, I don't know, I have a lot to thank swimming for making me the person I am today. So I guess, like I said, started competitive swimming when I was 6, and then things started getting real, like sacrifices and building my life more on it when I was 12. And then that's where I got on my club team, Scottsdale Aquatic Club, and just developed friendships and just, I don't know, such great influences, like coaches and people who really wanted to see me succeed, in such a supportive early environment. But yeah, so I have to credit them a lot for just kind of the progressions of my love for the sport. And going forward a little bit more, it was high school. So I went to Chaparral High School here in Arizona, did varsity for 3 years, and then moved to Toronto for my last year of high school to kind of like focus more on swimming, high performance style. After that year was my freshman year at college, and you know, where we first met.
Just ended up earning a scholarship to Stanford and going and swimming. And I love that you're like, yeah, I moved to Toronto, just so casually, just touching that in there. we're going to drop in for our listeners. She moved to Toronto for her first Olympic journey while she was in high school, which is pretty special. And you made that choice to go in, and then you come to Stanford and you go from there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy to think, like, I don't know, part of me thinks it's kind of all over the place, but that's kind of the way life goes.
I love hearing, like, going back, your defining, like, moment of what made you choose swimming was like your dad playing the washer game in the pool. Like, just, it's such a cute way of like developing your love for the water that ended up leading you down this path of, you said you started competitive swimming at 6. So you've been on like this 18-year journey through swimming and done it all the levels, and it comes back of your like first memory with the water is your dad playing the washer game and swishing you around in the complex. And it just makes me smile so much that's that kind of defining moment that you were like, I like this thing. Let's keep doing this.
Yeah, for sure. I just think it's so like, it's so cool to have just parents that want to support you so much too. Like, I think it's such a blessing to me personally. Just the connection of love, and then also just wanting to see you like find something that you love, you know? So yeah, I have to credit them for so much, and just like keeping me in the sport and making sure I had all the things that I needed to get there and perform to the way I wanted to. So
it's pretty special. And it's like not just rooted as something that you love, but from somebody that you love, which I love. That is like your experience and like your family support, all of it. What I like, I know for you has been so rooted with the love for your family and with the fact that you've had the village behind you to support it. So it's pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go in. We've got this fun little segment here with Strong Girls United. And for our listeners tuning in who are familiar with our 3 Good Things segment, I hope that you're as excited to hear this from Taylor as I am. This segment is the idea, and in the mental skills practices that we teach with our girls in Strong Girls United, it's the idea that in every day, no matter how good, no matter how bad, no matter how mixed you have it, you can always take 3 good things. It's kind of counteracting a negativity bias that people normally have. And it's saying, hey, take the day, no matter how good, no matter how bad, I can find 3 good things. Finding those 3 good things like immediately will shift your mindset into something that's more positive. And our philosophy is that let's take this and expand it out and look at sport. There are so many highs and lows in sport, as you know, as I know, as everybody who's ever played a sport knows. There are a lot of highs and there are a lot of lows that go with it. But taking a moment to kind of reflect back and finding your 3 good things in sport is what I've loved to do with our athletes who have come on, and what I would love to hear from you. So Tay, can you share your 3 favorite things or your 3 good things about your sport?
Yeah, I absolutely love this and this question, because it is so important just to have those things, like what you're saying too. They're your whys, you know? So for me, I'd say first is just love of the water. Like I said, it connects back like from the wee little girl, but it's just, I don't know, just feeling so supported, and like it's a different kind of world. And I mean, it ranges from just regular pool to the ocean to like, I don't know, anything. And being underwater and just hearing that silence, like I know a lot of other swimmers have kind of said that, but it's just like, it's almost like everything just like fades away and you're just, I don't know, you're just existing. And that's like, it really boils, I don't know, in a
It's an intangible.
philosophical way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can't like, I don't even know how to describe it, but
that's kind of the beauty of it.
Yeah,
And I'm like watching your
kind of like
eyes.
addicting in that way. So
Exactly. I'm watching your eyes get big as you're describing it. It's like, it sounds like it's like magic almost.
Yeah. A little bit.
I love it.
Yeah. And my next one is friends. Obviously, I think, like you alluded to before, just it takes a village. And I think that was a huge part of like just making those first connections when I started swimming on my club team, is just these people are my people. And Like they make me excited to want to go to practice. And I think I've just retained that like association when I come to practice. It's just these people work so hard and they all just, I don't know, want to push themselves to be the best they can be. And there's just an element about racing that I feel like is a common thread throughout it all. So yeah, just that people are awesome and yeah, lots of credit them for too. And then the last one I'd say is kind of like maybe a recent development and I'm super grateful for it, but the ability to travel for different competitions and just meeting new people there too is just, I don't know. I feel like it's just such a cool opportunity that's come throughout my journey with swimming. So yeah, I'm definitely super excited to be able to travel this summer and yeah, just all the experiences that I've had that grow my mind and just my spirit.
That's really special. And you said this like right as you were starting to talk about these things, and it is one of those like, standout moments to me of you saying like, yeah, my three good things. I love this because these are my whys. These are my why I keep doing this in sport. And these are my why I've been on this whole journey. And I loved that. Like each of those things is such a, I like look at your, like, the defining foundation of like who you are. And those three just align with like core values that I know are your own core values and also can be anybody's in sport. And so finding those three good, it's like those three good things, but those are three incredible things because of the fact that they're just like foundationally incredible. So I love it.
Totally. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I was like, those were such cute and like beautiful answers. They're like cut deep answers, like right into the soul that I was like, wow, I was mesmerized by you describing those for a second there.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, of course. I want to kind of hone in here on the mindset. You were talking about it to start about that whole idea of silence when you're in the pool that swimmers will talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Being a land sport, I'm still an outdoor sport, so similar energy, but being
At the
a land
beach. You're at
sport,
the beach.
yeah, I'm at the beach, so there's some water in it, but there is definitely not a level of silence when I'm competing. Like there's usually music, there's so many intangible elements, and there's so much communication in my sport that I've never thought about like a silence in a sport. And I think that swimming is really unique in that there is that level of silence. And it becomes such a bit about mindset for you guys of like in that silence, what are you telling yourself? What are you doing when you're in the pool? I look at your races, and your races in the grand scheme of a timeline are pretty short, but your mindset when you're in that is probably so much deeper. There's probably so much depth that come into that couple of minutes while you're racing. So I would love you to kind of walk me through your mindset when you're in the pool, what's going on when you're in that silence. I know that you were saying that it's really hard to describe the feeling, but are there things that you're telling yourself, or do you just embrace the silence and kind of enter a flow state? What's it like?
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Just like the comparison too, because I mean, I've watched you compete like maybe a handful of times, but it's like so cool to just see how different people approach and are formed by their sport and their passion. And I mean, personally, I'm not the best communicator, so maybe that's a little bit of like just swimming and trying to focus on like, yeah, that silence. But I think there's different types of it too. The silence, I guess that was running through my mind when I was talking about it before, was just at ASU. I've been practicing here for the past year, but we do this thing where you kind of like focus on your breath at the end of practice. It's just like a few laps, and then at each side you like focus on your breath, like 8 deep breaths, and then like do no breath, and then do the same thing like 8 times. And I found that so just giving, in the sense that, I don't know, I feel like breath is just a huge part of like, it's like super central to your stroke and kind of like the sport in itself, because you can't hold your breath through the whole, like your whole race, you know? So it's like, I guess a little bit obvious like that, but working with your breath is a huge thing that I've been learning about, like relearning this past year too. And just trusting, like letting it sustain you throughout your whole race and honestly the whole practice. And I don't know, it's an interesting like journey in itself. But the stillness, I think you can be relaxed in stillness, and then you can also be still in a race too, mentally. And like prior to the race, just being still is like super important in my mind, like in how I approach a race. I mean, I can go through like the whole like pre and like that kind of thing if that is all
Yes,
right.
I was just gonna say,
Okay.
like you like all cued me up that I was like, oh, I
Okay.
want to hear what it's like in a competition. What's your walkthrough of what does a competition day look like for you? Like when you're entering the mental states of each section?
Yeah, my approach has kind of been similar, like the same since 2018. And I think I just learned it like, I don't know, I found something that kind of worked and felt good and then stuck with it. But basically, I don't know, I kind of just like do my warm up before a race, and then like immediately before I'm about to like gear up and like walk to my race, I put my feet up for 10 minutes and just relax, listen to music. And then I don't know, I kind of have my music like getting faster and faster. So like different kind of songs. It's like country first, and then
You like cue up to get like
then,
faster.
exactly, yeah.
It's like the heart rate gets a little bit faster with each song that plays. It's like, all right, ramp me up a little bit here.
Dude,
like
yes.
the relaxed position and then the ramp up of music.
I know, it definitely gets you going on the inside, and then on the outside you're just like, what's going on? But yeah, I don't know, I think it's super helpful to just like rely on your external stimulus like that to ramp you up, and it's just kind of like trusting the flow of that. But yeah, after, listen to a good EDM, you just, I don't know, you're kind of just ready to go. And I don't know, focusing on your breath a lot too is like super important, like walking up to the race. And then in a lot of competitions, you have like a ready room. So you just kind of just like enter, have all your stuff checked, and then you get to sit down for like 10, 20 minutes. And that's super helpful for just like calming the nerves and just like talking to people if you want. I'm more of just like a focus on the breath type of person and not kind of letting my energy dissipate. Yeah, walking into the race, I guess, is kind of just like focusing on the here and now, like the ground beneath your feet, kind of like taking everything in and not super focusing on like what the race is going to entail, but just kind of trusting like you are where you are and like it's going to happen. And yeah, I guess the lead up to the blocks is like one of my favorite parts, because you're just kind of like do your pre-race, like, I don't know, do some slaps and stuff, and it keeps it all like super consistent. And then yeah, one of my favorite parts is just like when you're on the blocks and then you just feel like the blocks beneath your feet, and then they say take your mark, and then everything kind of just like leaves your head. And I think that's, I don't know, it feels like a super distilled moment like amongst like everyday life. So I think, yeah, it's just so unique and I can't really put it into words.
That's when you enter that like serene moment. That's when you enter the magic of the silence.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I'm sure listeners that everybody's laughing because they probably know what I'm going to say, that it's giving me goosebumps right now. But I'm like full goosebumped right now
No,
when I'm
you
listening
are
to
not.
this. I am. I'm telling you, I'm covered in goosebumps because I'm thinking about like you going off the block. I'm like goosebumping myself out even more right now thinking of this, of like entering that silent stage. It just, you go straight lock in. And it's what you were talking about. Like that was so cool. If you're like, as I'm walking up, I know like this is my favorite thing to do because I know that I trust everything that I've put in it has gotten me to where I'm at now. And that all I can do is do what I've done before. Like you're right there. You're like, I'm just going to swim my absolute hardest. I'm going to enter that silence. I'm going to just go.
Totally.
Just going to swim really fast.
Just go.
Just go.
Yeah.
Just swim really, really fast for a couple minutes. And then I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm curious to see like when they start you guys, does the same thing happen?
It's interesting that you say that because there's this level for me of like, I have the same thing of what you were saying, like in 2018, you kind of developed this routine that really works for you.
Yeah.
I've also like recently, probably in the last 2 years, like when I'm in serve receive, when like the other team is serving me, like I kind of have the same cue of where it's like hands on my legs, then drop that, like always make sure to drop my hands off as the other person's like tossing the ball or right before they toss the ball to serve. And so like my reaction or my cue into a play has become way more routine. But I don't know if I ever really have that silence because of the fact that there's always like kind of an intangible of like where I'm talking about the play that's going to be happening, of like I'll be talking to my partner about, hey, like I have XYZ in this play. I have this middle, this is your middle, I have the sideline, watch these things coming. So hearing you go into kind of like that silence stage is when you're in that like really, really flow place. For me, like when I feel that flow, it comes with a lot more talking and a lot more noise. And so I think that there's something really beautiful about the silence aspect that I've never really thought about in sport, because my sport is like, it's not noisy, but it's noisier because of the fact that I'm doing a lot of communicating. And so hearing you be like, yeah, there's something beautiful here, because like I go into myself, I really enter and breathe, and then it's silent, and it's just, I'm here, I'm present. I can't even describe the feeling, because it's when I'm in the pool, it's intangible. And it's so cool because I've never like experienced a silence like that when I'm competing.
Yeah, yeah. I know. It's cool to just see like, I don't know, the contrast, I guess. But
I know, I kind of love it.
like,
It's it's the land and the water, it's the silence, the noise. It's a total like yin yang effect of like two completely different sports. But like I love what you were talking about with your breathing, like how important that's been for you, because I think that that's something that was a later, well, I mean, obviously I'm not that late into my career. I mean, I've been playing beach for a while, but breath work has been something that's been super foundational for me, of like that routine that I was saying before a serve receive. Like I'm always taking a deep breath before they toss it up, and then I'm like releasing that breath when I take my hands off. So it's like there's a routine with the breath work. And I love that you've been talking about how breath has become such a big thing for you at practices and competitions, all of it, because breath is something that definitely is like right there and exactly the same.
and that's so beautiful too. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we take breath for granted a lot of the time, but just kind of like in that mindful, I've been working with a therapist for, oh man, probably since 2020. And that's like a huge part of like her mindfulness approach too, is just like recognizing that and just seeing the common thread like amongst athletes and just people. Like it's so beautiful. Like, I don't know. And you utilizing that to like, I don't know, live life, but also just like get like maximize your power and have fun with it, you know?
I love that. Now, looking at that and honing in, you've kind of talked about how your journeys and your routines have shifted, and you've kind of talked about things that you've added, like supplemented in over your journeys. And I want to look at your Olympic journeys. Like we can even categorize them into the three. And what did each Olympic journey look like for you, from when you were 16 and young and entering your first one as the teenager that you were, to going, you were in the middle of college? What did that journey look like for you going into the 2021 Olympics? And then now, how have each differed? Like, how have your mindsets shifted through your journeys? What did each one look like for you and feel like as you were going on it?
Yeah. A lot of the time when people like bring that up, I'm kind of just like, I feel like I'm so in the here and now, I forget about these kinds of things. So, but I know it's so important. It's so important to like know where you come from, and like you're going to know where you're going, you know, based off those things. So yeah, going off that, each one has been so different. And the first one was, I mean, felt like I was just like a baby. Like it was 2016 in Rio, and I literally didn't really know, like, I just knew I wanted to go fast and make my team proud, and just was in awe of literally everything that was happening, like walking around the village and just meeting my teammates for the first time, and everything was so new. So I think I wasn't necessarily overwhelmed, but I think, I don't know, I was just going through it. And I think there's just a level of presence there that was just awesome. Like, I don't know, I just had so much fun. Obviously, it was very stressed, like, didn't want to mess anything up. like I wouldn't have messed anything up, but just let like fear overcome me like that. But I just felt like it was so like just such a presence, which I'm super grateful for. And then the next one, Tokyo, delayed a year. And that was, I took my red shirt from Stanford to train in Canada for that one. So that I felt like I put a lot more pressure on myself for this one. And it was a good journey. I think I learned so many things. I mean, there's a lot of downs, and I think just learning to recognize, like, again, the village around me at that point was something that I've only really started thinking about. And so grateful that people were around me for that. But yeah, we had so many like resources and support, and I don't know, during like such a hard, like the pandemic, would I feel like super grateful to be able to say that. But yeah, actually getting to the village and everything, I think it all kind of fell into place. And despite like so many fears and like, am I good enough for this? Like, do I have something to prove? Looking back at my performances, I think it all just kind of, yeah, again, like fell into place. And I'm super happy that I had the people around me to believe in me, even when I was doubting that myself. And this time around, I mean, I'm just so excited to like have taken the time in stillness this year, at least a little bit. I mean, not everything's just consistent in life, but been able to work with my therapist and be mindful about kind of my journey and where it's gotten me to this point. And I mean, I'm just so excited to feel fulfilled, I guess, and like know all the hard work that it took to get here, and appreciate like the little things, the big things, like everything in between, my family. And I feel like I'm going into this with a lot more of just loving mindset towards myself. So I'm super, I don't know, I just feel so happy to like be where I am. Yeah, just see what happens this time around. I just want to go in and have fun and try and be a light on the team and just to people around. So
It's pretty special looking at, I'm like, I almost started tearing up there for a second of just like hearing your journey through these all. And like, it's kind of cool because you've added things throughout your career of that have helped you in each journey. But hearing like how you've been able to grow, you kind of grew up through this sport, like, and through these journeys. And you came in so fresh faced. There were nerves, but not really nerves because you were just so excited to be there in Rio. And then thinking about the fact of like putting pressure on yourself for Tokyo. And then you had stepped away from school to really hone in, and then had those kind of second thoughts as you were going into 2021 with the year delay and all of these things, and really then started working with your therapist and started really looking at building the village around you, because before you were so fresh faced and just excited that you didn't think about the village behind you. And then how
exactly.
important it was to have that village after it becomes it's really cool to add that building block. And then you look and you go to 2024 in this kind of moment of gratitude. Like that's what was really starting to bring a tear to my eye, is you're looking and you're like, I've learned to develop and I've grown up and I've gotten all of these things from this sport. And now here's my opportunity to really have this moment of gratitude and just put the best foot forward that I possibly can and be grateful for getting the chance to put that foot forward.
Yeah. Dude, now you're gonna make me tear up. Just the way that you like described it, like
Oh my goodness. We're both, it's official. We're both crying on the pod.
I know.
It's so special.
Happy tears.
It's total happy tears. It's the gratitude tears. It's that moment of really reflection of looking at like you now. It's been like 8 to 10 years of really growing up and learning the things that help highlight you and bring out the best sides of you. I just think it's really special. And I think hearing that it's like it took you years to kind of learn to build that village. I want to talk a little bit more about that. How has it been for you as you've been building this village? I think that you've got a pretty unique journey here, because you've talked about, we know you compete for Team Canada. You grew up in Scottsdale. you kind of have villages all over as a result of that. You competed at Stanford. You were at Stanford for, well, actually, you're going back to Stanford for your to finish up your master's degree. But you've had 3 different communities of building this village. How has it been for you to work through building like villages kind of all over? Has it been hard? Has it been fun? Like knowing that you now have multiple home bases, what's it been like for you as you've built those villages up?
Yeah. I mean, I'll start with my family here in Arizona. I think that's something that was on my mind a lot. Like after this past year at Stanford, just, I don't know, everybody leaves home for college. And I mean, I left 1 year earlier. So it was kind of just excitement to get out in the world and do your thing, be independent and, I don't know, commit yourself to your vision. And I think this past year, I was reflecting a lot on just my family and how much they did for me and how much like I appreciate that. It was a huge reason why I wanted to come back here for the year and just kind of like reconnect and just show them that love and how grateful I am for like what they've done and I don't know, to see what I can do for them at this point. And they've obviously been like doing so much for me during this year too, which I'm again so grateful for. And it's just like, I don't know, I just wouldn't be where I am without them. So I think that's just been a like huge blessing in my life the past year. I think like you said, there's also Canadian family, a Stanford family, and it's just crazy to think like we have friends all over the world, like
all over the world now.
How did this happen? Yeah, like we're all just so connected, like even you and me right now. Like
you kind of just hit the nail on the head there. Like your village went from like being, it's really cool. It's a full circle moment that you've been back with your family for the last year training because you're like back with your original village. But your village, as you've gotten older, has gotten the chance to kind of grow and widen and expand to be like a worldwide village now, which is so cool because it went from like, okay, I have Scottsdale always. And then, okay, I'm leaving Scottsdale to go to Toronto. That's a really scary thing because my whole village is in Scottsdale right now. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, Toronto, I love my Canadian family. I love my team. My support has been wonderful up here. Then it's like, okay, now I have to leave that and go to Stanford and develop this culture here. And you develop that culture and that family there. And you've got those 3 pockets. And then we all graduate from Stanford and we kind of disperse. And as people come in and out of Team Canada, I'm assuming it's the same, that you've got these kind of connections from all over now. And so it's got to be like when you go travel wherever now, you probably have a connection that you get to go and see and give a hug to probably, right?
I mean, yeah, definitely lots of hugs are being given out. But no, it's just so crazy. Like, I don't know how that happens, but I think a lot, like I've been working with my therapist a lot too, and just like, I'm bad at saying goodbyes. And just like knowing that there are so many people like around the world who love and support you and what you're putting your mind to. And I think that's easy to forget a lot of the time, but I don't know, just like taking time to sit back and think about the good times that you've had with others.
Yeah, it's nice. It's that you always get the opportunity to reconnect and have those people in your corner, even if you don't necessarily have them directly like next to you in your corner in person, that they're always going to be in your corner, whether it's virtual or in person.
Totally.
It's a really special thing. And I mean, looking at you too, like that's something that's probably been so valuable as you've been learning this about yourself, of like how important gratitude is for your career, how important like having somebody that you can really chat with about what you're going through in those moments. It's a full circle of like growing and learning that like that's an available option for you.
Totally. Yeah.
I love it. I want to jump right now and kind of talk about groundbreaking moments, because we've talked about, again, you've gone through this long career in swimming. You've learned to build this village. You've really grown up through competing. So there have to be some groundbreaking life moments in this time. And looking at it, in all of it, do you have certain moments through swimming or outside of swimming that have kind of been those defining times that have helped you to determine or helped you to achieve certain goals that you've had in the sport? I mean, you've won 4 Olympic medals at this point. So there have to be some of those moments. And I'd love to hear a little bit about the groundbreaking ones.
Yeah. That's such a good question. I think swimming wise, a super groundbreaking one was winning that first medal in 2016 on the relay. It was a 4x1, like the first day of competition, and I wasn't even supposed to be on it. I think I got like 5th or 6th, like at trials, and I don't know, our coach at the time, like I just kind of like joined this coach called Coach Ben, and then his high performance center in Toronto going into competition. And he had this thing, he's like, okay, we're going to do like a stand-up swim like 3 days before competition and see who's the fastest. So I think he definitely took a chance on me in that point, and my time wasn't insane, but he still took a chance on me to put me on the prelim swimming of the relay. And under that pressure and competition, I think, I don't know, I just did what I love to do, is just race others. And especially that like fresh eye, just kind of like wants to get in, get it done girl. And I have to thank Michelle Williams too, because it was both of us. She was the one originally qualified to go, and it was a hard decision on the coach's part and just the whole relay. But looking back, it's just so much support, like on all sides of like what was going on. And Michelle, she came to the ready room with us at finals, and she was there like when we got our medals, and it was just such a cool moment for everybody involved. Yeah, I just have so much love for everybody that kind of gave it their all in that moment. So yeah, I think there is just so much that went on with like that first groundbreaking moment in my career, and taking that, like, I think it had so much momentum in how I trained after that, and like kind of my goals and what I wanted to see out of my career throughout 2017, 2018, my decision to move to Toronto.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Dude,
Yeah.
I didn't know that you weren't supposed to be in that race and that you end up medaling at 16.
Mhm.
And that like was the snowball effect for you. Like that's what really kicked off. You were like, okay, like I'm an Olympian. Yay. I'm just happy to be here. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I want a medal.
Yeah.
Eyes widen, eyes widen, it's go time. And then it's literally that medal winning moment with that team in that relay. You look back and it's like, whoa, I've been on now you've been on 2 Olympic journeys since then. But it's that moment probably is the reason why you're still sitting here today earning the things that you've been doing.
Definitely, yeah. Which is so long ago, but yeah, it's cool to
So
see
long
like
ago.
Yeah.
So long ago, but probably feels like yesterday.
Definitely, yeah.
What other moments in your career have been your favorites so far?
Oh man. Oh, there's just been, it's so weird to like, I want to tell you everything, but
Say it all. We've got time. Let's hear
we
it.
have
What
so
are
much
your
time. We have so much
let's
time.
I was gonna say, let's hear the bullet list. Like, what have been your favorite moments in your career? Like, what are the ones that you look back on that make you smile the most, that are like that
Yeah.
medal winning moment?
Yeah. Man, I'd say another huge one in my career was our national championship, the Natty, my freshman year at Stanford. We had such, oh my gosh, our team was just like, there was flow to it. Everybody knew like what they had to do. And we had such like, I don't know, such strong upperclassmen as leaders. And I don't know, everything just felt so honed, and the support was all there. And just jumping into the water, like once we won it, it just, I don't know, it was like indescribable feeling again. But I just see like so many teams with, I don't know, every single time I see a team win too, now I'm just like, I don't know, it hits so hard, because it's like, like that's what they're probably feeling too in that moment, and all the hard work it takes to get there. So yeah, that was just so cool sharing that with my teammates.
I love it.
Yeah. let's see, I'm bulleting.
I love it.
I'd say there's a competition in Australia. That's probably more of the travel side of things. Well, travel and just kind of like, I don't know, everything about it was really cool. Just the team, the performances, and Australia's sick, so
That it
um,
is.
it's everybody's so nice and friendly, and yeah, it was just a great trip, work trip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little business
yeah,
trip.
yeah.
You know what's kind of cool that I'm hearing is that I'm gonna go full circle on you and you're gonna laugh at this. But I go back to our three good things conversation. You have three favorite moments in your career. Like you just pinpointed like the three things that stand out, and they
Yeah.
almost all completely align with your three whys that go with
Oh my
sport.
goodness,
Like
Charlie.
the first, isn't that so? I know I was like, whoa, I'm gonna go super full circle on you here. But you look at it and it's like the medal winning race is kind of that moment that you were talking about that silence of that specialty. You knew exactly what you wanted to give and you just wanted to swim fast and do your thing.
Mm,
And that's your moment. And then the
yeah.
second one, your second moment is talking about winning that national championship with your team, feeling that moment of jumping in the pool, knowing that you guys had given your all, that you had this team culture, that you did all of those things to win the national championship. There's your friends and there's the people that are around you in your village. And then you talk about travel and the value of travel, that how important it is for you in sport. And your third favorite memory is going on this Australia trip with your team, about the people around you, about the competition, how amazing it was, where you went, how wonderful the place was. And so your three favorite moments in your career literally mimic your three good things in sport, which I think is such a cool thing.
Dude, that's so fun when you put it all together like that. I didn't even
I,
realize.
I'm like hearing you talk about it. I'm like, this is the cutest thing because she doesn't even realize that she's doing it. But she's literally talking about the fact, like her three favorite values about her sport. And there's a specific memory cued into each of those things, which is pretty
Yeah,
special.
yeah, for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
And now looking at where you're going now, it's like you've got Paris coming up. You've got another travel moment. You've got another incredible team to back. You've got this abundance of gratitude. What are you doing to prepare for these upcoming races? What are you looking forward to the most in Paris? And what are the feelings as you're kind of leading into this competition right now?
Well, lately nerves, but I think the past 2 weeks at least, but I think now that everything's just kind of like becoming so imminent, it's just knowing and trusting that everything's going to work out for good, and it's going to be such a fun trip. And like you said, yeah, such great teammates are going to be there, and I'm super excited to just like get going. But yeah, I think what I want to focus on leading into camp and then first day of competition is just the stillness, just doing meditations every day, focusing on where I am here and now, and the breath. Like, I don't know, those are just huge. And I think doing those just give me just a peace of mind knowing that I'm going to be present where I am, and doing what I can to, I don't know, present my best self to others and in the pool. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what's going through my mind right now.
I love it. It's giving you that prep to take. I mean, nerves are going to be a huge piece of it regardless.
Yeah.
I feel like in any competition, in any big competition, you're entering the biggest of competitions right now. So
Yeah.
obviously there are going to be nerves, but I love what you're doing to prepare yourself and to like almost embrace those nerves. Like those are always going to be present, but here's what I'm doing on top of those that are getting
Yeah.
me like happily prepared, because there's going to be so many varying energies when you're out there. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's special.
Totally. Yeah. And do you meditate too? Can I ask? Oh,
Yes, I do. Yeah, of course you can ask. And yes, I do.
okay.
I loved that you said that,
Mm-hmm.
because like have found in sport that meditation is a huge important piece of it. My partner and I, before we play a game, we like to do just like 1 minute of mindfulness, of where we just like sit and we just do like a little whatever breathing pattern. We do our own individual ones. I usually will do like box breathing, just like 4 second in, 4 second hold, 4 second out, 4 second hold. I love to do box breathing because of the fact that it just lets me calm the adrenaline a little bit, set the nerves, and then go from there. Like let
Mhm.
them have their moment, but steady, and then go out to
Mhm.
compete. So it made me smile
Mhm.
when you were saying like, yes, I do a bunch of breathing like as I'm going in so that I'll ramp myself up, but I'll also calm myself down so that I can just lock
Mhm.
into the moment. That's
Mhm.
exactly, I do the exact same thing and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, little moments. It's funny because you were even saying like you have your prep room
Mhm.
before you go into competitions, and we don't have a prep space because we're usually on the sand like
Yeah.
outdoors. And so we have our benches, and that's where we'll usually like our timeout benches, and that's
Uh-huh.
usually where like anything pregame that you like need while you're warming up that you'll do. And so I kind of use that time on the bench as my little like prep space. And so that's where I do my mindfulness. So I love like you have your prep room, I have a
Yeah.
bench, and it's the value of both sports. I think it's so cool going back to the mission of like Strong Girls
Mhm.
United and what we do with our org. It's we empower girls through sports, mentorship, and mental skills training. And you and I looking at our mental skills training being like mindfulness and meditation is something that really helps carry us through competition. It's
Mhm.
that toolbox that we've been building over our years of, okay, we have this tool. This works really well for me in prep. I have this thing that doesn't work as well. So it's just going to go to the bottom of the box because maybe we'll try it back later. But right now, I need this exact mindfulness, or I need this type of breath work, or I need this type of situation to lock me in. I love that you've talked like bit by bit how you've added to your toolbox. Like I love for you that in pregame that you listen to different varying styles of music. I love that you do a little breath work. I'm like, I need my breath work, and then I have to hit 2 balls from each corner and then serve X amount of balls. And it's like building those tools, like knowing what works the best for you. It's so
Mhm.
cool. So thank you for sharing that. It's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, hearing you say that, it just made me want to share too. Like, I feel like this past year, I feel as though I've been learning so much about that, just like knowing what you need, like the importance of that, and like being able to communicate that with others and knowing how to act on that. And it can be in practice, like communicating with your coach, like either I'm not here right now, like, can you help me, like kind of lock me in, or if it has to be, I need to get out, I need to get out. But like that's what you need to know about yourself. And I don't know. I feel like it's such a cool thing that, like, as a kid, you're kind of just like put into things and you are so fresh. Like, I don't know. My dad said it the other day, kind of funny. It was like a soft boiled egg, but you're
Oh,
kind of just like going in soft boiled. And then, like, as you develop, I don't know, your relationship with your sport develops. It's like, I feel like you learn all these things. So, yeah, I think it's a really cool thing to look forward to in sport as you get older and you progress, and being able to relate with others on that level of, like, I don't know, people who dedicate so much time to their passion. So
no, absolutely. It's special. I'm so happy that you shared that. It's cool to be able to add those moments in. It's
mhm.
really special. Tay, I we are edging the near end of our time here, and I only have a couple questions left for you, but this is our fun portion. I think you're going
Oh,
to like this. These are our Strong Girls United series questions that we're hopping into. And for our returning listeners, you know the drill. And for our new listeners, our Strong Girls United series questions are following the pillars of our nonprofit. The pillars of Strong Girls United are strong bodies, kind hearts, and unstoppable minds. Going back to the fact that we like to do 3 good things, we love our 3 favorite things. We love things in threes. And our pillars, we have 3 pillars: our strong bodies, kind hearts, and unstoppable minds. And so, Taylor, following the pillars of our nonprofit with Strong Girls United, I want to ask you, how do you keep your body strong?
I keep my body strong. I say with consistency and connection.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Now, how do you keep your heart kind?
I keep my heart kind by keeping it soft and being curious.
Aw, that's so cute.
or at least trying.
Definitely. And then last, but most certainly not least, how do you keep your mind unstoppable?
Ooh. I think for me personally, trusting God and that everything is going to turn out all right and for the greater good.
Oh, I love that. And it's really beautiful being able to share all of it and just having that sense of innate trust. I think it's really special having that sense of innate trust. Taylor, thank you so much for coming on and talking today. It's been so awesome getting to hear more about your journey. And I really just love what you've been able to share with everybody. And for all our listeners, thank you for taking the time for joining Taylor and I today. Tay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Charlie. Thanks everyone for listening too.
It's been a special day. For everybody listening in, I'm your host, Charlie Ekstrom, and I'm here with Taylor Ruck, and we are signing off. Thank you for joining us with Strong Girls Pod. Thank you for taking the time to join us today on Strong Girls Pod. In the spirit of growing community and inspiring strong girls and women everywhere, please subscribe, rate, and leave a comment about our podcast. Tell your friends, family, really everyone to listen in and enjoy. This podcast is sponsored by Strong Girls United, a nonprofit with a mission to empower girls to be strong, confident, and resilient through sports mentorship and mental health programming. Visit sgunitedfoundation.org to learn more on how you can get involved today.